Which surgeon's mate was fired from the Continental Army twice in 1 year? Hi Founder fans, Jason here, and today's founder is Penuel Cheney. Now Penuel Cheney is a very obscure character and there's not a whole lot of information about him out there, but his story, what we do know, speaks a lot about the disorganization of the Continental Army early in the war. So Cheney was a physician in Connecticut, and when Lexington and Concord happened, he joined his local militia as a surgeon's mate, which was kind of like a number 2 doctor in the regiment. So they go to Boston, and very quickly he gets in a little trouble for certain malpractices, which seemed to be stealing from the army, or not stealing, but saying he was using more supplies than he actually was to make a little profit for himself. Now, by June of that year, when George Washington shows up, he is quickly turned on to this problem, and Cheney is going to be court-martialed. But Cheney writes to Washington and says, hey, you know, this happened before the Continental Army was formed, so I can't really be tried by the Continental Army because I was still just a part of the militia, or the hastily organized band of militias outside Boston, so you can't really try me for this. And how about you just discharge me? And that's what he did. Instead of having the court-martial, Washington did discharge him. Now, it helped that Cheney wrote, Dr. Benjamin Church gave me a lot of problems and made this a real issue. And this was right after Dr. Benjamin Church, who was the first person appointed as Surgeon General of the Continental Army. It was right after he was found out as a traitor. So dropping Church's name and saying, hey, you know, Church was the problem, not me, well, it really helped push Washington towards saying, okay, just get out of here. And that's what happened. Now, almost immediately, Cheney went and re-signed up with the initial militia that he was a part of. Now, his first militia got taken into the Continental Army and then was replaced in Connecticut, and he went and joined that new militia. Now, this came to Washington's attention almost immediately, and he immediately cashiered him out of the army. He didn't even deal with a court-martial. He just got rid of Cheney. And what's interesting is he actually wrote to Trumbull. Now, they were new friends, Washington and Governor Trumbull of Connecticut, but they would end up being very, very close and work closely together throughout the war. But Washington wrote to Trumbull and essentially chastised him and said, hey, listen, you need to do a little bit of research before you hire officers into your army, because this was a commissioned position. And he said, hey man, like, you can't just hire anyone. I already kicked this guy out of the Continental Army. You can't bring him right back in. And we do know that everything worked out in the end, and Cheney disappeared into the annals of history, the shadows of history, I should say, and Washington and Trumbull had a famously wonderful relationship from there on out. But, you know, right away, pretty much right when Washington takes over the war, he had to write Governor Trumbull, a firm patriot, I don't do that. Ouch. So that's the story of Penuel Cheney. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I inspired you to look up more about him, but there is really not a lot of information out there about him. I gave you pretty much 100% of it. I'll leave a copy of my article in the bottom that has some cool quotes from this whole process. But thank you so much for watching. Now today's Friday, so tomorrow we are going to have a live video. I hope you can join us, but I'm thinking about moving the day. I've put some feelers out on social media. So if there's a better day than Saturday afternoons for you to come and join us and talk about the revolution and the articles I wrote last week, please leave a comment in the description below. I would really love to know what days are best for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you live tomorrow.